Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
December was always and has been a celebration of light. And it has been a celebration of light all over the world with many, many different types of celebrations going on. As were mentioned, there's Hanukkah and even Buddhists. They celebrate Bohi Day. This is when Buddha became enlightened. And the Hopi, the natives, they celebrate Soleil, which means the return of the sun. And of course, we celebrated Christmas, the return of the divine Christ, the light within, the light of the world. And as John was saying, we are all sons. We are all sons and daughters of the divine. But this celebration of light doesn't stop in December. It continues on. There are many places around the world that continue to celebrate beyond December. For instance, we are from Europe, and the Orthodox people don't start their celebration of light until the 7th of January on the Epiphany. That's the beginning of their season. And so the celebration of light continues. So it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop with December. We think, okay, this is the time of the divine Christ, and this is the time that the divine Christ has been born within, and we talk about that. We talk about the divine Christ being born within us, and then radiating that divine out. But recognize that it doesn't stop at the end of the year. January 1, John said it's a 36, and 3 and 6 are 9. So which means there's a completion going on here also. So what about completing some of the issues and getting beyond some of the issues that you may have been carrying through this last year, or maybe through your entire life, or the lifetimes before? Did you know that an innate part of you is joy? It is, isn't it? Yes, joy. And so what you think about thinking about joy or focusing on joy is becoming that part of you. And you being that living, breathing joy. Wouldn't that be great? What keeps us from it? Something has. Something's still stopping us. Something that we haven't completed within us. And many of those things that we haven't completed is not because they no longer are part of us. It's just we just keep allowing remnants to still hang on to us and to still be present in our awareness and our consciousness. There's a place in ancient Egypt that's called Dendera. It is the place of the Temple of Hathor, and the Temple of Hathor is where joy, love, frivolity, it's all about love. It's all about joy. It's all about recognizing that that is the true essence of our being. And if you were going through the mystery schools, and the Nile River, of course, represents the spinal column. It represents the chakra system. And if this is something that you wanted to focus into, you would go visit the Temple of Hathor. Because the Temple of Hathor is just a vibratory frequency of that land. And the texts that are on the walls, they radiate joy. It allows you to pick up joy as you're walking the grounds. But you see, you don't have to go there physically to be able to recognize that and allow that joy part of you to come forth. You can do that by going within. You have the key. The Ankh represents the key of life. And the key of life is that which unlocks the mysteries that are within you. It unlocks that which is the inner mysteries of your soul. And by utilizing the Ankh, which of course is one of the wonderful symbols here at Coptics, I don't see one out right now, but it is. And so you have them on, there you go, you're carrying them, okay. So utilizing that key and pointing it to your heart and turning that key and allowing your heart to become open and wide, that love, that joy that you are can permeate not only you, but permeate everything that there is. Did you know that most of us still are living somewhat in fear? Yeah? Right. And I think many of us are. And it's a survival technique. But if you recognize that fear is only trapped energy, it might be a little bit easier for you to transmute that trapped energy into that which is joy. You see, when you see or sense fear within you, start thinking about something that is joyful within you. What has been joyful in your life? There has to have been something. Baby being born, maybe being in love. Because joy is something that only is. Joy is different in a sense than love, because love can be many different things. It can be many types of love, but when there's joy, there's only joy. And that's what makes it so unique, is that when you're vibrating in joy, there's nothing else that can possibly be standing in the way. And it's David Hawkins in his book, and his chart of the different vibratory frequencies of various aspects like love and fear and so on. He actually says that joy vibrates at a higher level than love. And the reason for this is because love has many different aspects to it. And when we think of love, we can think of heavenly love, we can think of earthly love, we can think of romantic love, all kinds of love. But when you think of joy, there's not really an adjective that goes along with it. It is only joy. Right? So this is what I'd like you to focus on this year, this new year, is joy. And what I'd like you to do, if you're so inclined, is to make a list. Make a list for yourself of the joyful things that you've had in your life. Okay? So that when something comes into your awareness and consciousness that doesn't seem like it's of joy, you can then look at that list and it'll make you smile. And automatically as you smile, then you are transmuting, you're changing that vibratory frequency of fear or anger or frustration into one that is positive and beautiful, and you'll walk around all the time with a sense of joy. And with fear being trapped energy, realize there's a lot of fear that's floating around out there. And if you start looking at it in that manner, look at all that trapped energy that you can take and utilize with your sense of joy. And then you keep adding more and more and more joy. You'll be packing it in. But it all does come from within, because it's already there. It's waiting for you to tap into. And that's what that key's about. That Ankh is about, is for your tapping in. The key of life. One of the classes I teach is meditation, the key of life. Because the key of life allows you to go into that mystery that is within through meditation. And meditation allows you to focus, to go within. It is to reduce, it is to bring forth from within, to bring forth that which is within you. And it's time for us this year to start living from within instead of living from without. In other words, instead of looking out here for your answers, start looking within and get your answers from that part of you which is you, which is God, which is the Divine Son, all the tremendous aspects of Creator God. We're January 1, new beginning, day 1, new beginning, and there's a new moon, new beginning. Divine Femininity is here today. And Divine Femininity, the moon goddess, she represents that which is within, that which is subdued. The sun always is shining bright, shining out here, but by going within, you're tapping into the moon aspect of you. It is that part of you that is within. And today, that's the message, is for you to go within. It is for you to go within and to tap into that part of you and to allow that part of you to explode and to enter every part of your being. You are all divine beings of light and love. We all know that, right? But how often do we forget about it? Now, when you make this list, put on it the things that have made you happy in the past, and put on it also the things that would bring joy to you in the future. And then sort them. Which one would be number one? And then go beyond that. What would you do this day to bring joy into your life? What can you do in the next few days to bring joy into your life? What can you do over the next week to bring joy into your life? Putting a smile on your face certainly is an easy one. Maybe not always, but it can be if we think about this trapped energy. If we know that we can transmute just by putting a smile on our face when we've got that negative energy within us, that will change that, bring that joy into your life. But then you can put things on the list also that bring a joy, like, okay, to go take a trip somewhere. Oh, it would be so joyful to be up in Mount Shasta. Because when you're up in Mount Shasta, you're there reaching to the skies. You're allowing that celestial heaven to come down upon you, which is already within you. But it's all very symbolic. There it is here, but it's all within you. It helps you to recognize that that is a part of you, that it all is within you. And the more and more that you start remembering who it is that you are, the more and more you become back into oneness. We've been dismembered, we've got all these parts floating around all over the place. We've had separating here and so on and so on. It's limiting us very, very much. And by bringing that focus back within and drawing then all these places of separation back within us, that will unite us. That will allow that joy to come forth. So I have a very short message tonight, but that message is for you to be in joy. And find that which is your joy. And recognize that if there is fear, it can be transmuted. Instead of throwing it away, know that it's a part of you, because everything serves us. But if we transmute what's within us, then we keep the lesson that's learned from it. We just toss something out. For one thing, you didn't replace it with divine light and love, that spot that you emptied by tossing something out. What's going to come back in to begin with? So why not transmute that with allowing yourself to say some words of, it doesn't have to be over and over again, but just that recognition. Oh, I am joy. Smile. Be joy. You are worth it. And that's really my message for you tonight. Very short because we have so many speakers. So thank you very much. Wonderful.